What's going on, everybody? It's Bulls Nation Station back at it again with another one. We have completed our first game, and yes, it finished off in a win. The Chicago Bulls won 116 to 112, and it was an interesting game. We got to see a lot of things. We had a lot of questions. Some were answered, some were not. As you guys know, Lonzo Ball didn't play this game, but Billy Donovan, he did say that Lonzo will be playing sometime this preseason, so definitely be in tune for that. And so what happened this game? They played the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it just seems like they definitely have some work to do as far as their chemistry. You could tell it's preseason. You could tell there was a lot of sloppy moves, a lot of sloppy plays. Passes wasn't as crisp as they would be in the regular season, and that's to be expected. They were able to get some good buckets from Kobe White. He finished off with 21 points. Shot 3 of 7 from the three. And speaking of from the three, the 3-point shooting for the Bulls was pretty putrid this game. They finished off with a 20% 3-point percentage. Shooting 8 of 40 from the three. They definitely got to do better than that. And that could be a deterrent. If the other team shoots way more threes, that could definitely affect them. But yeah, so they definitely need to work on their 3-point percentage. With Kobe White, he had a really solid game. Finished with 21 points. Josh Giddey, he started off kind of slow. It seemed, you could tell he's been off for a while from playing basketball. He's trying to figure it out. But as the game went on, I feel like Josh Giddey got better. He finished with 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he was starting to look more aggressive and more comfortable as the game went on. So I definitely feel like Giddey will be better as time progressed. And he definitely has to figure out his teammates as his teammates had to figure out him. But the overall team defense was kind of bad. Guarding the likes of Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, it was kind of tough with them trying to keep up. A lot of the pick and roll defense wasn't as crisp to start off. I actually feel like the bench came in and gave them a lot of energy and brought a lot of intensity on the defensive end. That's why the starters, they did their thing on the offensive end. But when the likes of Ayo came in, he brought some energy. He came in and scored. When the likes of Jalen Smith came in, he played pretty well also. Jalen Smith finished off with a double-double, 11 and 10. I feel like he played pretty well. He didn't hit his threes, but outside of that, I feel like he played a really solid game. But yeah, those guys, they came in and brought some energy defensively. And that's definitely what the starters have to work on, especially this game. Zach LaVine, his first action since being injured last year, he had a modest game. He only scored 7 points but only took a few shots, but you can tell that offensively he's there. He can score when he wants to. He didn't really take too many shots like that, but he definitely still has to work on that IQ defensively. A lot of that off-ball things. He had a couple of tic-tac fouls, silly fouls that he needs to work on. But it's Zach LaVine. You know what you're going to get with him. He's going to give you buckets on the offensive end, and there's going to be some mishaps on the defensive end. And so it was a pretty Zach LaVine-ish game, I would think. But yeah, I feel like Patrick Williams, he was kind of quiet this game. This is his first return back in a long time. He only gave you 4 points. He was 0-2 from the three. Hopefully, that gets better, is because we know Patrick Williams, he can shoot the three at a high percentage. And so he tried to take his defender, a couple times. It just didn't work out. He had to charge. A couple things didn't work out. He had a really quiet game, and he didn't play that much of it at all, in the second half. So he really didn't show a whole lot. He was okay defensively. He brought some energy there, but as a team, they just wasn't hitting. Definitely want to see Patrick Williams play better next game. Honestly, I feel like his backup really outshined him, and Buzelis, I'm gonna get to him later. But one thing that surprised me this game was that Julian Phillips was literally the first guy off the bench, and that caught me off guard. I was like, a lot of people didn't even expect Julian Phillips to get minutes this game, but you know what you're going to get with Julian Phillips. You're going to get energy, you're going to get hustle. He's always going to be in the right spots. He's athletic and he can hit that three, and that's what he did. Phillips, yeah, he had a good nice amount of points, but the thing that you seen was the athleticism. You seen the dunks, you seen the defense, in the hustle, and that's what you need. You need guys like that can come off the bench and bring that type of energy, especially when you're trying to play at a faster pace. And so, shout out to him. I feel like Ayo had a decent game scoring wise. Also, he had 10 points, but he was able to get the team involved, and he brought some of that defensive energy off the bench that you definitely needed. And yes, as a first game, I would give this probably like even though we won, I'll give it like a C plus, maybe a C plus, just because you could tell there's so much that the Bulls need to work on as far as chemistry, as far as defense, as far as shooting, and also rebounding. But a lot of that really happened when the bench came in. But yeah, it was interesting to see a lot of faces didn't play. Maybe Billy Donovan, since he has so many people, he's going to use those guys that didn't play for the next game. We didn't see Torrey Craig, we didn't see Javon Carter, we didn't see Kenneth Lofton Jr., those guys. So my best guess would be he's going to hold them out to the next game. Well, yeah, that's what he's going to do. Same with Zoe. I don't know if Zoe going to be back next game, but he's definitely going to make a return. But yeah, as far as the bench, it was really two guys that really stood out. Chris Duarte, he didn't really play that well to me. THT, he played decent. He was aggressive, but that's what you expect. This guy was in the league like last season playing against real NBA competition. So if you can't dominate against the second and third string guys, then yeah, what's going on? And so THT, he looked really good. He finished off with 6 points, had some assists, but he was just playing that old man game, wrecking down the court. But Tim, he really didn't show too much this game, and I'm actually, kind of worried because honestly, THT outplayed him. And you could tell by the way the minutes were going. But yeah, I think he only had like 2 points, but he really didn't show too much. Showed a little defensive activity. Dalen Terry, he showed some defensive activity. Also got a couple of deflections, steals. Kind of know what you're going to get with Dalen Terry. He didn't hit his three, of course, but that's the development for Dalen Terry. If he can hit his threes, that will bring him upper, to where he needs to be. And so still looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, got to talk about my guy Buzelis, man. He came in, hit his first shot of the game, which was a floater, and he was just confident, man. He was playing defense. I mean, it was times where he was guarding Donovan Mitchell and did fairly well and stopped him from scoring without fouling. And that's what you need to see. I know two things we have as a knock on his game is his defense and his shooting. And while he didn't show none of that 3-point shooting, of course, he missed his one or two threes. The defense was looking really good. I mean, especially on-ball defense. I was extremely surprised he was able to contain those guys. And he looked good. He was active. He was sprinting down the court. I mean, he was even running plays. He had a fast break to where he threw an alley-oop to Julian Phillips. And that's the type of stuff you want to see. You can see the potential in his rookie just off this one game. It's definitely things he needs to work on. He needs to get stronger, of course, so he can finish stronger. But yeah, I mean, I really like what I seen out the rookie. Billy Donovan played him extensive minutes just because he was playing so well. And so, that's a cool thing, if he could just keep developing. And I said in the previous video, he's going to have a staple in his rotation if he keeps playing as well. I don't see him going to the G League. But yeah, overall, it was a solid game. The Bulls won. There's definitely a lot the Bulls need to work on, especially defensively and especially as far as their shooting. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know how do you guys feel about the game. And I'm going to holler at you guys in tomorrow's video. I'm out.